Hello everyone, welcome back to Luna Reacts. So with this Royce story, we have a 4 through 6. I had no idea that we had a 4 through 6 and we got a 7 through 9. I've got my popcorn and I've got my wine, okay? Because I have not heard it. I have not heard it and I'm scared. Okay, I'm scared. But if you have not watched the parts 1 through 3, make sure that you watch them. I will link it in the description below. Okay, so let's get started. Shout out to Sweet Mom for Life for providing this content for us to react to. We appreciate you. Make sure that you go follow her and subscribe to her. And if you have not subscribed to me, my channel Luna Reacts, please feel free to do so. Subscribe, comment below, and also share this video if you want to share this story to someone, or if you want to share Sweet Mom for Life, her information, her story. You want to share that, please feel free to do so. So let's get into the video.
What's up, friends, foes, and subbies?
Right.
Now, last night, Royce dropped part 4, but we waited because she went live, and I felt like it was important to just keep the whole series together. So this is part 4, 5, and 6. But before we get into it, y'all, I got to read this. This was on her screen when she got to part 5. Next up, part 5 and 6. End of 2009 to 2013. Filming BBW, pool party, porn stars and dick pics, dating, Wendy Williams, lawsuit and lawsuit and lawsuit. You really took my mom's life savings? Baby number 2, baby number 3, save my child from the nanny judge. Who's this Christian girl? What happened to the pastor? He's leaving Orlando. I gotta send our son where for 6 weeks?
Hey y'all, it's Royce, and I'm here to tell you how my life
Is this
changed
a book,
beginning July
Royce?
31st, 2004.
Girl, you should have
Up
wrote a
until
book.
now, all because I had a baby by Superman, part 4. So I need to go back through 2009 a little bit more in depth because that's where a lot of your questions are. So the first part of...
Hold on, because I just thought about that. Think about it. If she would have wrote a book, now, he was complaining about her opening up a dance studio, so I don't know if she has one or not. I don't know if that was true. I have not vetted that. But, I mean, if she has a dance studio, that her love is dance. So, I understand. You got to get your money, you know? But my thing is, what if she did write a book? Think about how much money she would have made. She would have wrote a book. An audio book on Audible, baby. Okay, let's get back into it. I'm sorry if you hear me crunching, but I'm gonna eat because I've not eaten dinner, and I'm gonna open it up a little bit so you shouldn't hear me as much. But I got my headphones too, so if you hear me crunching, I'm sorry.
Of 2009, I'll say the first quarter, I am confiding in Shawnee. I'm talking to her about pretty much everything I'm going through. She was one of the first people I told that I was pregnant, so I really thought I had a friend. When it came down to me telling her that Superman had reached out about trying to work things out, it was do what you feel is best for you and your son, follow your heart, don't listen to what people have to say, nothing biased. So I decide to work things out. As we're working things out, there are also conversations about a reality show. When I discussed it with him, he was all for it. He wanted to do it. He was excited about it. I told Shawnee, and easy sell. So during this time, we are working on our relationship. We are out in public. I mean, I'm going to the games. Our son is wearing his jersey. We had a Magic Dancer reunion. It was just a lot going on. I am buying a house. I am shooting a sizzle reel in Miami for the show. And that's when the verbal assault started. But I took my ass to LA and I went and I pitched that show to all those different networks, and I talked about how great of a relationship I was in, and I just knew I got it sold. I get back home and I find out that I have been cheated on with several women. All that I kept thinking in my head was, this man does not like to use condoms.
Oh.
I went off. I went to the clinic, I got tested, and I went off on Twitter. I mean, woo! I was letting his ass have it, y'all. Of course, he got pissed off, and we, like, broke up. And then a couple days later is when he comes by the house, and he's supposed to be picking up our son. He's mad because I would usually have a backpack and some of his favorite snacks at my house, but we're not together, so why the fuck would I have that?
Well, yeah, because the last time that you didn't have his backpack, you got threw up against the freaking cabinet. The entertainment center. That's the reason why. He like, so I gotta throw this female up against this cabinet again. I gotta throw this female up against this entertainment center again in order for her to pack this boy's bag, because I don't want to do it myself. Like a responsible adult. Like a responsible adult father. These men are something else, okay? Okay.
But anyway, obviously he's in a bad mood, so I'm just trying to ignore his attitude. He's yelling in the house like, oh, I'm ready to go, and where's his bag? And I'm like, it's in the closet. He goes to the closet, and I'm asking him like, yo, you good? Like, you okay? Because you acting real strange. He turns around and proceeds to tell me how stupid and useless I am.
Oh.
How I'm worth nothing. How nobody will ever want me. No man is ever going to want to be with me. How I'm the best that he could ever get. I'll be back. All these things. That's when I go into the family room and I tell his friend, like, yo, get your friend. He acting crazy. Like, what's wrong with him? And he comes out. That's when he grabs my hair, flings me into the entertainment center. Same thing with our son. I told this story in part 3. I don't really want to have to rehash it. But before they left, obviously his friend is saying, hey, man, stop. That's a female. But he's still screaming and calling me every name besides the one I was given. They then pick up our son and they leave. I'm now left to have this conversation about what just happened with my goddaughter. After that, I then had to pick up our son from his house. And I'm sorry, y'all. I do not know why I laugh or smile when I'm telling my trauma. I don't know. I'm so sorry. I know it looks weird. I know it looks crazy.
Oh, girl.
I don't know if it's a coping mechanism.
We all do that.
I don't know. I'm sorry.
You gotta laugh, keep from crying, honey.
I'm trying. I don't know why I do that, but because they leave with our son, and like I said, I have to now go and pick him up from his house after this visitation, and I'm in his room, and that's when the knife situation happened. It should also be noted that prior to me going to pick up our son, we had a few conversations, and I forgave him again. So I get to the house and he asks me to come into his room. I go, he closes the door, and he pulls a knife out on me.
What?
He says, I could really kill you right now and claim self-defense, and they would believe me because everyone loves me here and they hate you.
Oh.
To attempt to rewrite history is crazy because those of you who were at the house that day know exactly what happened.
Oh my goodness.
But maybe that hypnotism did work.
What?
So he comes over to the house about a week or so later, and we're hanging out with our son, watching a movie in the family room. Remember, we're trying to work things out. And I go to the bathroom. When I come out the bathroom, he's in the bedroom. He wants to have sex. I say, no, my cycle is on. He says he wants head. And I say, no, our son is right there in the other room. He proceeds to get up. He shuts the door. He comes over to me and he pushes me down to the floor like he did before, and he proceeds to ram his waist into my face. If you can imagine what that feels like, think about someone punching you in your nose at 6'11", 200 pounds, and their pants are still on. Think about that happening over and over and over again to you. You're now in tears. Your son is in the next room. You've already basically been told that you're hated by your hometown, so call the police on Superman?
What?
Clark Kent? Baby Jesus of Orlando? No, you can't do that. Okay, so that situation happened, and that is what ultimately.
Hold on. Honey, I need time to process. I feel violated. Jeez. Cause it's like I'm a visual person, so like I can see that happening. And I'm just like, oh, oh goodness. Goodness. Whoo! Hold on, y'all. Cause baby, I had no idea that I am traumatized. Okay, I had no idea that this was like this. Oh my goodness. Okay. Okay. I'm sorry again if you hear me chewing. My headphones have a speaker, like a speaker connected to them. So if you hear me chewing, I do apologize. I'm gonna try to turn the volume down so that you can't really hear me chewing. But if you do, I'm sorry. I'm hungry. I had to take a breather because this stuff, this is heavy. Okay.
Led me to leave the relationship. Not soon after that, the show got picked up. And that's when contracts started going around and our attorneys started speaking with each other. And because I was still signed on to do the show and he was not, they were concerned about what I was going to say on the show. So they were like, well, we just want to make sure that she doesn't say anything bad about him because of his career. And we don't want any type of, defamation. And of course, I'm like, well, is it defamation if it's true?
Right.
But okay. And then it was.
The crazy thing is, like, nobody protected her. Like, she's going through this situation. Nobody protected her. Nobody offered any type of protection for this woman. No type of counseling for this man. No type of therapy for this man of why he feel like it's okay for him to do stuff like this. Nothing. He was just allowed to do whatever he wanted to do. And we hear these stories all the time. Sorry, my little blanket came off. We hear these stories all the time about men getting away with doing things like this to their significant others because they have a big name and they're able to get away with it, do whatever they want. It's messed up. It's wrong. Like, protect women, man. Protect women. For real.
Also me saying, well, I don't plan on that being my storyline. I don't have to talk bad about him. I don't really have to talk about him at all. The next day, my attorney calls me to his office and he's like, hey, you need to get here as soon as possible. I need you to sign this agreement. And I was like, what agreement? He said, the agreement about what we talked about yesterday with you and Superman. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. I get in my car, and I think I was even at the park because I was close. But I get to his office, and it's not even 4:50 yet. It's like 4:40 something. And he's like, sign this agreement. So I'm looking at it first. I'm trying to, at least skim it. And he goes, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm just checking I'm supposed to read everything. So he says it's basically the conversation that we had, a couple days prior, just in writing. I said, okay. I signed the paper. I trusted him to my detriment. He then goes, hurry up, we gotta go. I'm like, okay. So we're rushing out the office. I'm right behind this man, and we go to get in the car. He's like, what you doing? I was like, you said we gotta go. And he was like, well, not you. I was like, what do you mean, not me? He was like, you're not dressed appropriately. I had on an orange tank top and jeans and sneakers. This man went to court, and rather than me not be there for the judge to ask me if I knew what I was signing, for the judge to go through the different provisions of what that agreement said, and me have to agree to it, my attorney did that. You want to know what that agreement said? That I could not say his name, any type of insinuation, his middle name, nobody in his family's name, his friend's name. I couldn't even say my son's name, y'all. And if anybody in the room was even talking about him, I would have to leave. And it said not till death, but till death and the end of time. That attorney.
How much money? How much money did he pay him, you think? For that? For that betrayal? I hope she took him to court. I hope she took him. I hope she sued that attorney. Because that was dirty. If this is true, that was dirty. That was real. That was that's some nasty work right there. Wow.
Later withdrew as my attorney. But there's a new agreement in place, which trumps the old one. So as much as I wanted to fight it and argue it down because it was on some bullshit, my attorney had to remind me, it's not about the little battles. It's about the war. Hey y'all, it's Royce, and I'm here to tell you a story about how my life changed beginning July 31st, 2004 to even now, all because I had a baby by Superman, part 5. I think it's also important to note when people ask, well, why couldn't you all try and work this out? Y'all needed therapy. We were actually given a parenting coordinator, and I went to all the appointments. He went to one. He stopped showing up. So she ended up writing a letter stating that she could not do her job because of his failure to participate. So we are now at the end of 2009, and unbeknownst to me, this agreement I've signed has just basically destroyed my life.
Wow.
Well, not only am I fighting him in civil court, but I'm also fighting him in family court. They are filing all these motions claiming that I am denying visitation when half the time they asked for it, he wasn't even in town. But what does that mean? More attorney fees, more court costs. Because every time a motion was filed, we had to answer. During this time, I am also dealing with one of his minions that is going on the internet and threatening to fight me at my son's birthday party. She was saying that someone was going to end up at the 33rd Street jail, that they needed to have her bail money because there was going to be trouble. I am expressing my concern regarding this person, and finally it was agreed that she would not come. So now here we are in the first quarter of 2010, and I'm filming the show. I am living my best life. I am outside. I am dancing at pool parties. And here comes another lawsuit. What does that mean? Another set of retainer fees. There goes my first check. So the second quarter of 2010, I am getting drained with attorney fees. I'm fighting him in family court as well as civil court. And I'm also doing promo for the show. I am now asked to go on the Wendy Williams show. Not as a guest, but as a how you doing girl. She asked me if my son's father was Superman. I said yes. I'm now sued. I am sued for $500 million.
What?
As I'm dealing with this latest lawsuit, and people are laughing at me all over the internet and wishing hell on me, hoping that I go to jail, calling me every name in the book. I am also getting harassed by the same person who threatened to fight me at my son's birthday party. She is sending me messages about, how does it feel to not be number one anymore? How does it feel to know you're not the only one? Don't you feel stupid? And what was she talking about? We have welcomed baby number 2. A little girl born in June of 2010. And so
that is so pathetic. That's so pathetic. You're not number one anymore. You're just as pathetic as him. Y'all belong together. Y'all deserve each other. Girl, how you doing? He said, I am the prize.
September of 2010, there was another lawsuit. What does that mean? More money, in which at this point I did not have.
Wow.
He won. There was a writ of garnishment that was made out for November of 2010. And they went and looked for every single account that I had. And they took everything from me.
What?
Not only did they do that, They found the account that I had with my mother since I was a little girl, the very first account I ever had, and she was attached to it. It wasn't even an account that I used anymore. But because they didn't get anything out of that account from me, they took everything from her. They took my mom's entire savings. In the early part of 2011, I released my...
This is horrible. Because now her mom is being affected by this. Like, her family's starting to be affected by it. Like, it's one thing, I mean, her son definitely was affected by it, and that's, like, a part of her family, of course. But, like, it's one thing to be, like, your immediate family. That's, like, people that are directly connected to him. But for it to be people who have nothing to do with the situation between you and him being affected, that's gut-wrenching. I cannot imagine the amount of guilt she felt for giving this person a chance. I cannot imagine how guilty she felt for giving this man a chance and him doing this to her mother. That's crazy.
It's my book, College Girls. I was hosting parties. I had a boyfriend, the one that bought me the dog. I was doing the weekly blog for the show. I was in Detroit doing the play Cheaters. I was hustling, y'all. Come June of 2011, wouldn't you know, by the grace of God, out pops Superman and Sister C. This one is a Christian. She is modest. She is a beautiful girl, all natural, and I mean, very Little House on the Prairie. Perfect for his image. He is getting baptized. He is giving himself to God. He is in love.
Oh,
Visitation
my God.
scene.
I've seen it. I have seen it. I've seen it. They'll be in the public eye. I've dealt with this. We're literally dealing with it now. In the public eye, there'll be a stand-up citizen, be on boards, have all of these people praising them, loving them, cherishing them, right? And I may sound like a bitter baby mama. I don't care. I've seen it. She's telling the truth on this. I've seen it. And then they'll get that one who looks so wholesome and have her on his arm. And in the background, he's destroying somebody else's life. Yep. It happens. It happens. That is a thing. And it's something that we need to talk about. Because it's like he's destroying her life, but in the public eye, people can't see it. They can't see it. I literally lived this. I know what she's talking about. That's crazy.
As if they are becoming more consistent, so I'm grateful. August comes, and because visitation has become a little bit more consistent, my son is now waiting for him on the curb. Yes, just like the little picture of the kids sitting on the curb with a lunchbox waiting for their parent that never comes. That was my child, the one and only time I allowed him to do that. But nobody called to say that they weren't coming. And because I turned into the FBI, I find bitches instantly. I went on Twitter because I wanted to know where he was. And this was around the time where people were putting all their business out there. So I saw a picture, and he was in New Jersey. He was on a basketball court with his and Pastor Zachary Timms. Oh, I had to go back through my calendar, and I was making sure that this was a day that he was supposed to have our son. And it was, and I reached out to my attorney. I sent the picture to my attorney, and I'm like, what is going on? There was no response. So the next day, I get back on the internet because I want to see if there's at least a timeline of a return, because my plans have now changed, but it's always been that way. Well, all of a sudden, the Twitter page went from 10,000 plus tweets to 10, 20. What happened? Did he find out that I saw that he was in New Jersey and didn't get our son for visitation? No. I then see a headline that says, Pastor Zachary Timms is no longer with us. Oh. For the rest of that year, I minded my business. Although I was still fighting in court and talking about this nanny and being told I was a liar, I kept my mouth shut. Well, now we're in January of 2012, and I am dating my football player, and I am happy. A picture comes out of him taking a nap with my son. Fully clothed, very innocent picture. The narrative that is given is that my boyfriend was being inappropriate with him. They took that narrative and they ran with it for weeks. They didn't care that it could destroy this person's character, his career, his reputation, nothing. It wasn't about the nanny who was actually being inappropriate. It was about a distraction. Why? Well, in February, that is when I was made aware that he was leaving Orlando. And then in March, here comes baby number 3.
Ooh.
Baby number 3 is over a year old. Baby number 3 is a little girl. Baby number 3 was born the same year as baby number 2.
Ooh.
We are now in April of 2012.
Child, I dealt with that too. My baby dad got 4. 4 different women. I know it. I know it. It's crazy. Crazy.
And Superman is having back surgery in California, and I'm ecstatic that he is no longer here because I'm thinking he's going to leave me alone. He does not. I am hit with another lawsuit. In this lawsuit, I am almost immediately demanded to send my child to California for 6 weeks. I get 1 week of visitation. Yes, I was forced to send my child to California for 6 weeks to be with a person that he has not seen in 6 months, even when he was in Orlando.
Absolutely
That visitation
not.
exchange was probably one of the worst situations I've ever had to endure. I watched my child hyperventilate. I watched my child scream. I watched my child reach for me to take him, and I had to let him go. I was given a visit halfway through, and I saw the same exact thing. And I was also there with one of my dancer friends that I dance with in Miami, who I also dance with sometimes when I take a heels class. They were there to console me because I could not, in my mind, save my child. After that visitation, I was hit in court with more motions, more visitation requests for days that he was not even in town. And there was one time where we actually did communicate and came up with a visitation schedule, and flights had already been made, but his attorneys wanted to go to court claiming that I was denying visitation. I went to court that day and I showed the judge that we already had the flight information. His attorneys sat there and were acting so oblivious as if they had no idea.
What?
In 2013, I'm hit with more court filings and requests to produce as usual.
Hold on.
But his attorneys wanted to go to court claiming that I was denying visitation. I went to court that day and I showed the judge that we already had the flight information. His attorneys sat there and were acting so oblivious as if they had no idea. In 2013, I'm hit with more court filings and requests to produce as usual. But around April, I'm hearing rumors of another baby. Well, come June, that baby is born, a little boy. And I say on Twitter, congratulations, happy birthday. This baby was born in California by Little House on the Prairie, Sister C, and he has now been traded to Houston. Hey, y'all.
You know, even the word like traded, such an interesting, it just made me feel so, like, it's just, it kind of gives me the ick, because it's like, it just reminds you of like slavery days when they would like trade people for like land, trade people for all types of stuff. They would trade our people for all types of stuff. So like when she says stuff like that, it just reminds me of like where all of this originated from. But anyways, not here nor there. Don't let me starting to sing Negro spirituals. All right.
Y'all, it's Royce, and I am here to tell you a story about how my life changed beginning July 31st, 2004, up until even now, all because I had a baby by Superman, part 6. We are now in the fall of 2013. I am getting my son prepared for kindergarten. I have actually gotten him tested, and he has been diagnosed with ADHD. For those of us with children who have ADHD and have taken medication for it, you know ADHD medication is not something that you can start and just stop cold turkey. So there were visitations that were happening, and they were refusing to give him his medication. I was also against him traveling so much because he's literally in kindergarten, the first grade of grade school. So outside of my son having to travel on Friday nights to Sunday evenings just to get up for school the next day and go, I am now concerned because they are refusing to give him his medication. They lied and said that they had a doctor from Sarasota come and examine him. And when I spoke to that doctor in Sarasota, that doctor said that he absolutely did not examine my son. He only told them what the medications that he was taking were for. He also let them know that it was dangerous to stop the medication cold turkey. They did it anyway.
Well,
And
just like that time when he was a baby in part 1 through 3, when he was a baby, when they were freaking giving him the food that he wasn't supposed to eat and laughing when he was being gassy, laughing about that. Remember that? This is the same thing that's happening now. We're literally laughing at the fact that he was colicky and he was gassy, like he was crying, newborn baby. It's crazy.
And now we are moving into the summer of 2014. Our son has completed kindergarten, and he is now going to visit his father for a few weeks in the summer. I find out that almost 3 days after our son arrived, he left. He had actually been gone for several weeks, and I had no idea because...
You just leaving our baby with anybody after what happened with the nanny? Like I said, they was trying to send this woman to jail. For real. They was trying... Bruh. There is no way. There's no way. Okay? There's no way. Like, I couldn't do it. I'm sorry, I got a freaking kernel in my gum. But there's no way, literally no way that I could deal with something like this. She, like I said, she a strong mama jamma. Okay? She a strong mama jamma. And still look good. All right? Still look good.
Nobody was communicating with me. When my son is finally returned home, I am actually at practice with my company, and my parents call and say that I need to get to their home immediately. I ask why, they won't tell me. They just express that it was extremely important. Of course, I leave, I get there, they tell me that my son has bruises all over his body. I go to hug him and him me, and he goes, ouchie. I then look, I raise his shirt, he has a bruise on his stomach, he now has a bruise on his leg, on his inner thigh. And when I ask him what happened, he tells me his daddy did it. This is just a couple of days before he is to start first grade. So of course I am texting, trying to figure out what happened and why, and I am being ignored. I am then told by my attorney that I need to take my child down to the Department of Children and Families. I do that, and they do a forensic interview. They talk to me, and they start asking me to contact Superman. I am doing so, and I am trying to tell him what is going on, and he is ignoring me until he finally responds and says that he doesn't have to tell me anything about why he disciplined or spanked our child.
You cannot leave bruises, sir. You cannot leave bruises. You're not invincible. You're not untouchable. What you thought this was? These men are wow. And did you hear about the 70,000? Did you hear about the 70,000 men in that group chat that were discussing on ways and giving tips to each other about how to SA women and hurt women that were close to them and not get caught for doing it? Did you hear about that? Oh yeah, I'm going to do a video on that as well. Yeah. It's being exposed. 2024 was the year, and it just continues. It just continues, myself included. If I tried to hide something, guess what? It doesn't matter. Nobody is spared. Nobody's spared these days. So if you're trying to hide something, just know that eventually it comes to light.
Because of that response, a case was opened. The case was almost immediately shut quietly. Because of my concern and because I said something publicly, the case was reopened. The case was then sent to Georgia because it happened in Georgia. It was sent to 3 different counties in Georgia until it got to the county that his uncle was the DA of, and the case was dropped. But I'm not saying that he had anything to do with it.
You gotta be kidding me. They dropped it. Who is this man connected to? Is he a part of the... Because for real, like, who is he connected to where this stuff just gets dropped? You've watched those TV shows where they are highly connected and just stuff that they do just falls off the face of the earth. It doesn't even matter anymore. Oh, you didn't see anything. It didn't happen. Oh, they doing a Men in Black on you. Like, for real. Not anymore. Not on my watch. Like, I see it. Y'all say, not on my watch. Not on my watch. Okay, I'm done. Sorry.
As you can probably guess, at this point, visitation ceased. Communication did as well for the most part, except for the fact that they sent a picture around of me taking my son
I laughed to
to
keep
for
from
his
crying.
birthday and made it seem as if I was a sick mother. In 2015, we barely communicated at all. There were no visitation requests. There was just a bunch of motions filed here and there. So, of course, more money. As we get to the end of 2015, the communication doors are reopened. And Superman and I are communicating. It seems as if we are working on co-parenting. He asked if we can come to Houston in January of 2016. Visitation request, there was just a bunch of motions filed here and there. So, of course, more money. As we get to the end of 2015, the communication doors are reopened. And Superman and I are communicating. It seems as if we are working on co-parenting. He asked if we can come to Houston in January of 2016, and I said yes. And when we get there, we're going to eat oysters, and as we're coming back, Superman is walking with a young lady that looks to be, I believe, Mexican with long hair, and she's holding the hand of this little boy with floppy hair. And he's trying to get out of her arms. He's just wild and crazy. As he's introducing her to me, he then introduces the little boy and says, "This is my son." What? He's 2. So now we have baby number 5, who was born the same year as
that is
baby number 4
crazy.
in 2013.
Oh, no.
So this is the real reason why
discipline.
you haven't been bothering me.
None.
And I knew that to be a fact because
Like, it's the freaking Buck mentality for me. Like, penetrate the world. Penetrate. Like, come on. How deeply embedded is the conditioning? That, like, ugh, okay. Ciao. Okay. I don't have anything to say. I'm struggling to put my blanket back up. Cause honey, I can't. I am disgusted. I have embarrassment for her. Secondhand embarrassment. Highly. This is atrocious. Okay.
she was actually going through court with him. And now we're trying to change the narrative. Well, I did befriend her and we became very close, and she actually came down and celebrated my son's birthday with him. And I took him, my son, and also their sister to Fun Spot that year. We were also making trips to Atlanta because at this point he had been traded again and he was now with Atlanta. Also, let it be noted that Sister C and he had broken up. Unfortunately, this meant that I now had to deal with a crazy ass pastor and his wife that were constantly telling us how bitter we were and that we were gold diggers and that it wasn't about the kids and that we were worthless women who wanted him. We are now in 2018 and our son is playing sports, but he's also a junior striker, which is a hip hop dancer. His father did come to the show that year. It was in June. And after the show, he, along with some of his people and my people, we went to dinner. After dinner, a few friends of mine and I were supposed to go to the Pulse nightclub. We did not go to the Pulse nightclub because all of us were outside having a conversation with a homeless man. That is the night that the Pulse nightclub shooting happened. This is also the day that he told me that he was dating the basketball player. When he told me her age, and I was taken aback, but to each his own, because who am I? Pot me kettle, right?
Wait. Royce, what are you talking about? Wait, she lost me. I don't know if it's a wine, but she lost me. What do you mean? So you was outside talking to a homeless man? I was trying my best not to pause it, but you was outside talking to a homeless man. What was you talking to this man about? She said something about a basketball player. And then he was dating someone. Okay, I'm gonna keep listening so I can maybe piece it together because I didn't understand that at all. Why did you add that in there? Was that needed? I'm seeing a tinfoil here. Tinfoil hat. My ears are perked. Let's see.
A few months later, right around our son's birthday, a recording was released.
Wait a minute. She just skipped over that? Okay.
And the recording was a man who was alleged to have had deeds with Superman and the pastor arguing on the phone. This is the same conversation where this person called Superman a 6'11" bottom. Well, now moving on to 2019, I realized that I like this girlfriend. She seems cool. She seems to keep him level-headed. He seems to be leaving me alone, and I'm all for it. Anytime we are having an argument or we seem like we can't communicate, it seems as if she's stepping in and she's really helping things out. So we good. Our son graduates from elementary school that year. He graduates with honors. She comes. There's a big family picture, and we keep it pushing. So I thought she was cool. I liked her. We had a cordial relationship. Well, next thing you know, the pandemic hits, and he is losing his mind. He is swearing that the world is going to end, and he has all of us in a group thread, and he's trying to get all of us to come to Georgia for quarantine. I said no. So did mama number 2. So did mama number 3. And mama number 4 and mama number 5 said yes. I then thought about it. I spoke to my boyfriend. He was still against it, so I stuck with no. Just a few days after that is when I'm on the internet and I see a bunch of prayer hands under mama number 5's picture. And I'm trying to figure out what's going on. I get a call from mama number 4, Sister C, and she tells me that mama number 5 has passed away. Of course, I pick up the phone and I start calling, and she's not answering, but I could not believe it. My dog is gone. She was the one that I was closest to. She was the one that I communicated the most with. I was heartbroken. After that, I am getting hounded even more so with phone calls about coming to Georgia for quarantine. At this point, because my heartstrings have been pulled, and because
You know what? I'm gonna let this play out. I'm gonna let it play out. But this gave me an idea.
have been in and out of court for years, I am waving my surrender flag. So I went to Georgia for quarantine, and it was the worst mistake I ever made in my entire life.
Ooh.
Not sure what to expect here, but on her last video, Royce says, "I'ma finish this by 11:59 p.m. today." So, y'all stay tuned. I'll see you on the next
Why
one.
they got
'cause
her
I
looking
know
like
there's no
that?
way she's gonna end it
Why?
like this.
Why she got her picture?
We just might go out with a bang.
Why you got her picture like that?
Hi, Gabby from Vegas.
Oh my God. Why she got her picture like that? What I was going to say is, I think it's very interesting. All right. So I think it's very interesting that she established a relationship with all of the baby mamas. All of them. That is a skill to be learned. How did you do that? I am intrigued. You just had her, you talked to them? Like, y'all, she said that she was tearing up when the last one passed away. That means that she was really close to her. You established a relationship with all 4? How did you do that? I want to know. There should be a freaking, what is that, Skillshare? She should make a Skillshare video about how women who have a baby daddy who has multiple baby mamas with multiple children, how y'all can link up and support one another. But I swear, bro, I swear to you, we're moving into tribes as it is. I swear to you, that would be next level. Next level. Because think about it. When he's done with you, he move on to the next. He don't care if he get her pregnant. He don't care. He move on to the next. Okay? And then you left with the pieces. You left with picking up the pieces and putting them together and trying to weld them together and trying to tape them together and try. You are left with that. And majority of the time, you're left with that by yourself. So what if women who had the same baby daddy could put their differences aside? Could you imagine if they could put their differences aside and literally create like a friend group, a chat, a group chat, and they literally supported one another. Even if it's just you bonding off of talking ish about him. Even if it's that. You bonding about the stories that you have about him. Oh, the tea would be piping hot, okay? Piping. Yeah, with the spit. Piping hot, okay? I think she's on to something. Okay. Thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate all of you that have. I'm Luna with Luna Reacts. Please make sure that you like, share, and subscribe. If you have not subscribed, please feel free to do so. I'm working very diligently to make sure that I post more because I want to make YouTube my primary income. Okay, that is a goal of mine. I have a goal set at least 5,000 subscribers by the end of this summer that's coming. Okay, end of this summer. So please, if you can, subscribe, share this video, okay? Make sure that you subscribe to Sweet Ma for Life as well. And hit that notification bell for my channel if you have not hit it already so that you can see whenever I post new videos, okay? So I thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate you. Make sure that you love yourself and put yourself first no matter what, okay? Love you. Peace.